Hello everyone, welcome to Mind Over Mania, where we keep your head above the chaos. My name is Christian, and I'm recording another Pick a Card reading today. Today's topic is going to be who is lying and who is telling the truth. Okay, so first of all, I just want to remind everyone that tarot reading is for entertainment purposes only. However, it is also meant to be a bit of a guide to help you with discerning a particular situation between two people that are telling you something and helping you make a determination of who's the liar and who's telling the truth. Just make sure you use your own discernment, and it's very important that you clear your energy before selecting your pile. That way you get the most accurate messages related to your particular situation. Use common sense, y'all, when it comes to this. Obviously, don't be making any major life decisions based off of what a tarot reader tells you. Without further ado, we have 4 piles to choose from today. So in order to select your pile, put both feet firmly on the ground, take a couple deep breaths, close your eyes, imagine the 2 people that you are having to make a determination of who's telling the truth and who's lying, and whenever you open your eyes, select whichever pile resonates the most for you. I will see you at your pile. Take care. Hello everyone, you have chosen pile number 1 with the Mimikyu stat. Hello everyone, you have chosen group number 1, which is being represented by the Mimikyu sticker. Alright, and these are going to be your messages on who is lying and who is telling the truth. Okay, so we're going to have person 1 being represented over here on the left, and person 2 over here being represented on the right, and the cards in the middle are going to represent the situation that's going on between the 2 of you. In order to make sure that this is the pile for you and the right messages for you, we're going to start off with the situation that's potentially going on between the 2 of you, and then we're going to focus on the 2 different people and figure out who's lying and who's telling the truth. I already have an inkling, though, of which pile is probably the liar. Also, disclaimer, if this pile does not resonate with you, either select another pile or maybe this video is not for you, okay? Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So the situation that's going on between you and this person, we have the 3 of Blades, aka the 3 of Swords, in tarot, which that is all about heartbreak and whatnot, mind you. We have blocked solar chakra, or solar plexus chakra. May experience low self-esteem, overly rigid or controlling behavior. Get outside to use the energy of the sun and recharge your yellow chakra, or do a fire meditation with crystals to help boost your confidence, optimism, and well-being. Okay, what was funny was literally right before I started recording your pile, the sun outside got really bright. So I don't know if something's coming to light. Maybe there was something, I don't know if there was like maybe a breakup, or there was just some kind of missing confidence or missing truth between the 2 of you, or there was just some kind of back and forth that really, I'm just feeling like something was just very, very unclear, and there was someone who was out of touch with their own truth, with whatever decision was made, okay? We have scarcity mindset. Okay, a scarcity mindset makes it difficult to move forward and achieve goals. Practice feeling grateful. This puts you in a more positive state of mind that will allow you to see more opportunities than are around you. Okay, yeah, so I feel like whatever the conflict was in this scenario, scarcity definitely played a role. So maybe someone wasn't getting their way, and so they're trying to manipulate or control the situation, or someone's just feeling not good enough. I think that there's a tie here with specifically not like low self-esteem and not feeling either worthy enough, or one person got very, very triggered by another person. And so with that scarcity mindset, it's definitely giving me the vibe that somebody was definitely being either overbearing, overreacting, or trying to control the situation because they didn't feel either good enough or like they had enough like there's something about like they feel like their needs couldn't be met, but Spirit's telling me they actually could have been, and the person with the low self-esteem is the one that's acting kind of rigid. They're trying to push out a certain narrative, and they're flippantly kind of going back and forth, I'm feeling. So maybe a story has been changing a lot with one person over the other, versus one person as being more consistent. And again, with the mindset, it just definitely feels like it's this person's either personality or something that they consistently do in their life. It's a cycle. And so this particular situation that's happening, you're gonna find out right off the bat who the liar is quickly, because they do this a lot, okay? If this is something that has been a reoccurring problem with them, the person who lied in the past is more than likely gonna be the liar again. And they're gonna show you if you have not figured that out yet. We have entitlement. Oh my god, that's so funny. Entitlement has been a theme in my life recently. And like, look at the lovely blonde hair too. Feeling betrayed because you didn't get what was somehow rightfully yours. Don't become so consumed by what should be yours that you lose sight of what could be yours. Realize that you can't always get what you want, but if you try, you might get what you need. Yeah, so again, there definitely feels like this narrative of somebody felt owed something, or like again with the scarcity mindset, it's almost like they react with a mindset of lack due to this entitlement. So say, for example, somebody is used to always getting their way or being able to negotiate, or like, for example, scream and cry over a situation, and then somebody automatically caves to their whim because they just don't want to deal with it, right? So then they feel like something that maybe blown out of proportion is really a detriment to them, when really it's an entitlement thing. You know what I mean? It's like people don't owe you a certain level of kindness or a certain level of access to you. And it does come from low self-esteem behavior, because if this person didn't have the entitlement energy to control what was going on around them, they feel weak. They feel like they're not good enough, or they can't compensate in some kind of way, or that someone's going to come after them, you know? Yeah, okay. Interesting. And then specifically too with the Three of Swords in reverse, you know, there's someone that's kind of like either in denial about how much something hurt them, or maybe one person is coming out of heartbreak and you're stepping in your power and this is triggering the crap out of another person. You know what I mean? There's definitely kind of this energy that it's definitely mirroring back and forth. It may not appear that clear right now, but it definitely will come to fruition when we start getting more into like the cards or whatnot. But anyways, though, I hope that describes your situation. Let's go into the two people involved. Right off the bat, I'm just going to be straight with y'all. Pile 1 here is going to be your liar, and pile number 2 is going to be your truth teller. So these cards are going to describe this person, what their thoughts and feelings are, and give you a couple hints as to how to identify who that person is in your situation. All right, so let's start with, I'm hearing Spirit wants me to tell you the truther first, okay? So we've got September. Okay, so I don't know if September is significant. Maybe something happened in September to this particular person. Maybe they have a September birthday, or maybe fall is important, the season. I'm also hearing like, do you remember like that yeah, I'm basically hearing the song September in my head right now for some reason. So maybe the person that's telling the truth knows how to look back and accurately recall information. So they could be like, hey, remember when this happened in the past? You showed me who you were then, and, you know, I'm telling pile number 1 that this is what's been happening. Remember when that thing happened? Yeah, this happened again. You know what I mean? So, like, this person is able to accurately reflect on the past. And it feels like maybe something happened within the last 6 months, too. Maybe a more major incident, or just something came to light. Okay. Yeah, maybe September of 2024 was significant. I know that was a triggering time for a lot of people, including myself. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what else comes up. We have Tortoise, slowly but surely getting ahead. Okay, so maybe this is a person who maybe they're slow to get off the ground, right? Like maybe this person has a lot of ideas and maybe they are trying to get things together, but they've not been making the quickest or best process. Maybe they have a speech impediment because I'm kind of like having trouble talking. But I am getting like a tortoise in the hare type energy. So for example, like this person who's telling the truth is someone who shows up consistently over time, or they take their time evaluating things. They don't make quick judgments, or there's someone who goes and thoroughly researches something. They ask questions, or like again, they'd rather move slow to make sure they're doing something right as opposed to the fast moving person. Okay, so, and then especially with the tortoise, I'm also seeing like the shell. This person maybe is guarded, I feel like, or this person knows how to protect themselves. So maybe they're not going to be revealing the whole truth to you about this situation, but they are sharing important details that matter to you guys, person number one. Pile number one, sorry. But yeah, slowly though, maybe you might think this person isn't the brightest, or maybe there's just something about them that you're not always sure what their intentions are. My eye's getting drawn to my Mimikyu sticker, which for those of you that aren't familiar with this Pokemon basically dresses up like a Pikachu, but it's actually a ghost, right? And it's pretending to be another Pokemon in order to try to fit in, but it's a very powerful Pokemon, okay? And basically what'll happen is if you end up killing it, it will not fully be dead, it'll still have one hit point left because it's still, you destroyed its dummy, right? So there's a lot of like two-facedness that this person I feel like deals with, and people often I feel like the other person in the scenario pretends to be like a person like this. You know what I mean? And if you're sitting there questioning like, well, how could this person not know? They must be playing dumb. The person telling the truth is not playing dumb. They just genuinely don't care. And that's where that entitlement energy, either you guys pile number one or this other person, you gotta be very careful, because if you're somebody that doesn't necessarily understand what the person telling the truth's talking about, you could very easily brush over this person's opinions, right? So maybe, for example, someone is coming from a different perspective and they're telling you about what's happening and you immediately are like, oh, well, because they don't look like me, or there's not they don't have the same level of experience. So like if this is a work situation, they're like, oh, well, maybe this person comes from a different department. I don't really know this person that well. Yeah, but like you want to make sure that you're really keeping yourself in check if you want to have access to the truth. All right, let's get more messages. We have, when the time is right, I will be with you. Yeah, so another sign that the person that is telling the truth is when things are going wrong or badly, or when they need to show up, they're going to be there, okay? Like this person's going to be pretty consistent about that. Maybe, again, they don't show up to every after-work outing. Maybe they don't follow social media, or maybe they don't keep up with different things. However, they are pretty truthful in general, and specifically like if you're going through a hard time, like this person's going to leave you a card on your desk without saying much, or they'll donate some money to your cause. You know, like this person's very much like, they don't have to flash their support to people, okay? And so you're going to notice that, like, specifically when this person is telling you something, they're coming from a place of their heart space, and they will support you, you know? Because here's the thing, is regardless of what is happening in this scenario between these two different people, I feel like it's two different opinions, two different stories of what happened. This person isn't going to gang up on you guys, pile number one. Like, they're going to say, okay, if this is what happened to you, that changes things, right? Like they can actually sit and be talked to, as opposed to abandoning you or being there sometimes versus other times. Like this person's consistent, even if you're not that close of friends. They know what their truth is, and they seem to be a good person in general. I'm not ignoring you, I just need to focus on myself right now. Yeah, so this person might not be the most vocal at times. They might sometimes be hard to reach, or for example, maybe they don't communicate like you do. So maybe there's social cues that you believe this person's missing when no one's ever told them anything. Again, I have a feeling like this person, or maybe you even think that this person may be stupid when this person just really isn't paying attention, or they're just focused on something else, you know, than what you need. Especially if this is like a friendship situation thing, like this person doesn't have time to be focusing on whatever this drama is. That's why when they come out and say something, they're like, this is what it is. And again, whatever maybe happened in September, maybe they're just like, After September, I'm packing my bags for the winter. I'm taking a social winter break right now. We've got content, satisfied with the current state, even if it's not good. Okay, so that's another sign that this person's telling the truth, is they are gonna be like, hey, you know what? If you want to believe the liar, go for it. Go for it. I don't care. You know, like, they're not gonna get hot and bothered by this other person because they know that they're telling the truth. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, yeah, I'm sure that they would prefer not a conflict, but they genuinely don't give that much of a shit. It seems like, especially, like, my eye keeps getting drawn to the entitlement. Like, this person knows that this other person's entitled, so they're not going to bother wasting time and energy trying to change somebody who clearly doesn't want to change and doesn't respect this person. We have deny, doesn't want to claim you in public. Okay, so maybe another sign that the person who's telling the truth is they are slow to share things on social media. So maybe they don't want to get involved in anything right away until they know something solid. So maybe, for example, this person is either someone you're dating, and I could definitely see them being like, hey, I'm not going to put us on social media until I know we are definitely boyfriend-girlfriend. Not until I've met your parents, not until whatever. And so maybe this person could be trying to make this person out to be like someone they're not. Or, like, for example, maybe they don't post a lot on social media. Maybe social media is more important to you than this person, but this person is definitely like, I really don't care. Like, when they say they don't care, they're not faking it. They genuinely don't. So don't try to push this person out because they're just not participating in things the way that you do. We've got leech, okay? Annoying, won't leave you alone. Yeah, so this person that's telling the truth, I feel like they can spy leeches, and they think that this liar person is a leech, okay? Like, I can see, like, look at the way this man has this cigarette and is looking at this person. Okay, I could see the person telling the truth just leering at this person who's clearly full of shit. Maybe they are taking advantage of you, pile number one. And it causes them to be upset, honestly. They're probably sitting there going like, how could you fall for this? You know what I mean? They're like, this person is clearly manipulating you. I don't have time for that. I'm just going to go slow and steady. I'm going to enjoy my kombucha, my coffee, and not talk to any aliens. my Pittsburgh just came out. Jeez. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we got a pretty clear idea of who's telling the truth in this situation. So let's go ahead and see what the liar is like. Oh, I'm just hearing the word false. You know what I mean? I think they're just spreading false information. There seems to be a very emotional reaction, but they're trying to paint it out as truth. And it seems to be like a truth that everybody's supposed to know. And that's why it's so easy to manipulate other people against the tortoise, because the tortoise moves slow. So what'll happen is there will be this big blow up. Again, let's say in September something happened. The day I'm recording this, it's July. Okay. And, actually, no, it's not July. It's June. Ooh, I don't know. But we'll say that, all right? So say the big thing happened in September. It's now June. And then in July, something happens where all of the truth comes out, right? And then everyone goes, oh my gosh, tortoise person was telling the truth the whole time. And it's like, yeah. And then everyone's going to feel really shitty about it. But no one's going to reach out and apologize to the tortoise person. They're just going to keep their distance because it's easier to just feel comfortable in the entitlement and the lack of accountability than do that. However, it does cause people to respect you more, tortoise. I feel like, and again, I also feel like maybe you guys, pile number one, maybe you are also in this dynamic with somebody. Maybe sometimes you're this tortoise person, and you're trying to figure out, like, am I the villain here? No. Okay, no, you're not, if you're the tortoise person. But yeah, a lot of it's just like, you're just dealing with some really entitled people that believe their opinion's right just because they're loud and just because their world is very small and revolves around them. And they only attract people that are like them. So they can't listen and handle to people with different emotions. That's why when this liar person's coming in, they're easy to manipulate. You guys, pile number one, if you're not the tortoise person, they can manipulate because they know that they're just going to tell you what you want to hear. Because you've already created a judgment and a story against the tortoise person because of they're different, or maybe they rubbed people the wrong way, maybe they're autistic, maybe there's just something about them that you're like, I feel something weird about them, and it's like, come to find out, here's the liar, and it's gonna get dropped, okay? We've got eagle, triumph over troubles, obstacles. Yeah, so the way you can identify the eagle person in this particular scenario or season, interesting season. So maybe this person isn't always a liar, pile number one, but the liar in this situation is someone who is successful right now. Okay, and for some reason too, I'm seeing like kind of like an eclipse. There's almost like a target in the background. That's what I'm kind of seeing, is like this person is intentionally targeting the tortoise so they can get away with something and they can fly away. Okay, and so with triumph over troubles and obstacles, they just see that convincing you, pile number one, of this lie that everything's going to get pushed onto tortoise person, and then they can go continue on their way and live guilt-free, okay? Because I feel like this person does it a lot, and they're just used to flying and coasting through things, because people just let them get away with stuff. Versus tortoise person doesn't put up with that. You feel like home, okay? So maybe there's something about this liar who is very familiar to you. So maybe this is a peer that maybe they look like you. Maybe there's someone who grew up with similar values to you. And maybe there's something about them that triggers you about your home life. Maybe there's something about your home life that you have not thought of, but like, to me, it just feels like a wolf in sheep's clothing. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the people that, like, say you go to church and it's that one atheist person or someone who just shows up to church for the free food, or they like to quote gospel, but they don't actually like helping people. It just really feels like there's like oh yeah, come on in, you're safe here. You know what I mean? Like they're very good at manipulation, okay? But they're also quick. They have a fast turnaround, and they make it feel and seem like it was you the whole time, when meanwhile they were just churning, coasting. We have, you are the most beautiful thing I keep in my heart. We got some gaslighting. So this person who's lying is basically, they're going to compliment you a lot. They're going to be telling you, like, you don't deserve to get treated this way by the tortoise person. Ugh, I can't believe there's such a victim. You know what I mean? They're like, I feel you in my heart. You know what I mean? Like, they're very, very much playing on your heartstrings. Pile number one. I wish we could be together right now. Yep. All right, so here's another thing. This feels like shoulda, woulda, coulda energy. Like, they're sitting there being like, man, I wish we could do that thing together. Man, I wish we could make that happen. Yeah, I should do that. You're right. They say that stuff to pacify you, and then they're going to go make their own decisions. Okay? Like, they're not actually sitting here listening to a thing you say. They think you're attractive. They think that they can manipulate you. They think you're spoiled. And they think that they can just put a one-up on you. Okay? And you're going to be like, I'm not spoiled. I'm channeling this person's energy. Because this person's a liar, right? They know how to extract things from folks that are used to just getting their way. Or maybe there's this scarcity mindset, right? Where there's something going on where this person doesn't have enough because they're used to controlling things. They're used to getting their way, and then all of a sudden, oh, maybe this person, the tortoise person, doesn't have a lot right now, but they're putting a lot of time and energy into getting their situation together, versus this person, they're just kind of like, oh, give me a handout. Yeah, just hand it to me. Oh, we're friends, right? Of course I get to borrow your car. Of course. You know what I mean? It's like, there's like the assumption that they can just have whatever of yours that they need, when they're not extending that towards the tortoise person. And that's where the blocked solar chakra, solar plexus chakra. Why do I keep saying solar chakra? That's so weird. Oh, it's because it says it at the top, not solar plexus there. Now I'm like, geez, brain and mouth are not alignment, which that's probably more confirmation. It's cognitive dissonance right now, Yeah, and I just feel like this person's kind of rigidly being like, they don't acknowledge that it's entitlement to just assume you can have whatever you want of a person's energy whenever they want. You know what I mean? Like, there are consequences when you don't follow through with what you say. You know, there are consequences when you just expect things from people when you give the bare minimum back. Right? These are the kind of people that they're like, oh, well, because I'm popular, or oh, because I'm saving the world, or oh, because blah, 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 blah. I don't need to, like, follow back with my commitments. You know what I mean? And this person might be a little younger, too. We've got mean girls gossiping about you. Ooh, so another sign that this person is the liar is you're going to find out about the gossip that they've been spreading about you. They've been sharing your secrets, pile number one, to their friends, maybe to their spouse, and they do not like you one bit. They are nice as hell to your face, but the moment, pile number one, that you start saying, hey, you know, I really didn't like it when you talked to me that way, oh, that was their excuse to just unload on you. The problem is they gotta have deets on you that are actually bad to make other people dislike you, pile number one. And that's why, especially too, if they're lying about this person in particular, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, you know, like when you meet that person that talks shit about the nicest person in the office, and you're sitting there like, how could you talk shit about that person? And then other people start to slowly put the pieces together. Yeah, because I feel like the liar in this situation, pile number one, their either home life is deteriorating, their relationship has deteriorated, their career may be okay, but there's also some obstacles in there, and I think it's going to deteriorate quickly because you lose credibility when you start talking shit about good people, right? Because like this person will talk shit about the tortoise and talk shit about you. They don't care. We've got straight up liar, can't believe a word they say. Yeah, so another way that you're going to be able to know who this person is when you figure their lies out. So maybe you can ask questions to the person that's involved, you know? So like if this is a workplace scenario and you're like, okay, so when did this meeting happen? That was 2 weeks after so-and-so went on maternity leave. That actually couldn't have been them. Or, oh, this thing happened, you know? Oh, I noticed on social media they're not posting about this thing anymore. I wonder why. You know what I mean? Like, there's, like, a lot of, like, cloak and dagger shit that this person, like, tends to play. And because they don't stick around long-term in places, they churn and cause messes, and then they move to the next place. And then we've got mind games. Ooh, yeah, so pile number one, like, this liar person plays mind games. They're a trickster. They're always power grabby. They're always trying to do little subtle jabs. They're trying to influence a situation in their favor. And now again, this liar person, I think one of the problems that you're having, pile number one, is this person doesn't have an evil heart. I think you're getting caught up in trying to figure out who's the truther and who's the liar when, I mean, this person could definitely not have intentionally lied. But they do this, right? To try to triangulate. And specifically with mind games, it's kind of like this person is strategic with how they influence situations and situationships, okay? Like, they're not hooking up with just anybody, right? So again, if you are entitled or you are somebody who comes from privilege or you have access to things, this person already knew that from scoping you out. So of course they're going to tell you everything that you want to hear. They probably told you some truth. They weren't always liars, but you damn well know that they're spinning their machine the moment the door closes on you. And the best part about this is, though, pile number one, you don't have to worry because this person's cycle with you is going to close soon. Because I think when you actually start putting together all this stuff, you know, you're going to be coming out of this period into empowerment. And now you're really going to start seeing these people in broad daylight. And yeah, you don't have to put up with that shit anymore. And who knows, maybe you might go back and become friends with this tortoise person. But maybe not. Maybe tortoise person cuts you off because you believe the liar over this person. But at the end of the day, mean girls are going to be mean girls. Okay? And you can put up with that energy as long as you want to. But Spirit's kind of advising you don't. You don't need to go through this again. You know, this isn't high school. Anyways, y'all, thank you guys so much for stopping by and checking out my reading. Please like, subscribe, comment down below if you enjoyed the messages today and if this helped you. And if you're interested in booking a reading with me, links are in the description down below. I will see you all next time. Take care. Bye. Hello, everyone. You have chosen pile number 2 with the green boba kitty. And these are going to be your messages on who is telling the truth and who is the liar. Okay, so we have 3 piles here. We're going to start off with the pile in the middle, which basically describes the situation of what's going on between you guys, pile number 1, and these 2 different people giving you information. And then there's pile number 1 and pile number 2, which I don't know who is the liar and who's the truther. However, this pile has a lot of cards, and this one's very light. So we're going to go ahead and see what's going on. As I kind of alluded to before, it feels like rather than one's a truther and one's a liar, it feels a little bit more muddy and less clear. And it feels like there's 2 different sources of information here. 2 different people telling you one side of a story that you guys are going to have to piece through your own discernment, use your spiritual intuition with it. Because I think that's really going to be the best way to make sure you're open-hearted with what is the best decision to make for you. This isn't necessarily a direct, I mean, there is some manipulation going on, but it's not, I don't feel like this is the full story or the full truth, you know? And I think, make a decision based off of everything so you're not automatically, cutting someone off or doing something that's not really in alignment or close to your authentic choice or truth, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's get into the situation cards. I don't know, something's a little silly. All right, someone upstairs is laughing. We have habitual time waster, keeps coming back in the same energy but no offer. Okay, so maybe there's a situationship going on. Maybe you're trying to figure out, do I break up with this person? Do I stay around? Should I stay or should I go? And with the time waster, maybe there's a situation with this person where you're feeling, this person's draining my energy. They keep coming back, but they don't offer me anything. But it could be also you're doing the same. Maybe you're getting tarot readings about this situation over and over and over again. Nothing's changed. You're not offering anything to spirit. Source is kind of let go of it for now. Yeah. And they're maybe you're getting 2 different forms of advice about a person in particular. It kind of gets, I kind of get the vibe and feeling that you're trying to make a decision of, can you trust a person in particular, or if there's someone you know that isn't being fully honest and upfront with you. Which I'm feeling like you're questioning this pile right here more than this pile with their information. We've tried to run from our love, but our souls craved this magic. Okay, that's more confirmation that this is romantic. Maybe it's a soul connection. Maybe you're man, I've spent enough time with this person that I'm what the hell? You know what I mean? Can I believe what I'm seeing with them? Or is my intuition true? What is the truth here? There's a lot of frustration and magic, maybe you're doing spell work to attract a person. And you're kind of is this my soulmate? Is this love? Or is this person going through something? You are always on my mind. Yeah, so somebody is definitely hyper fixating on another person. And maybe this situation keeps you guys up at night, pile number 2. Maybe you're sitting there going damn, I shouldn't have walked away and let that person go. Or maybe I shouldn't have left without a fight, But you are in your head a lot about this. We've got true love. Ooh, okay. Okay, and let's get into the blockages cards. We've got spiritual teachings. Believing money is the root of all evil creates problems with money. Oh no. Money itself is neutral. It's how you choose to use it that matters. You can use it for evil purposes or you can use it for good, to create beauty, help others, and thrive in order to serve humanity. So maybe you're judging someone because they don't have a lot of money, or maybe you're not judging someone because they don't have money. You know what I mean? It kind of gives me the vibe of well, why am I getting this quote? It's broke bitches don't deserve no kitty. I know that's right. Yeah, it's kind of sitting there being oh, well, I love him, but he's clearly not taking care of himself, and there's kind of an energy of oh, hey, well, he's just going through some hard times or he's just making poor decisions. It's like, yeah, but does that mean that you need to sit and babysit him? Sorry. Okay, we've got physical health. Living an unhealthy lifestyle is decreasing, well, yeah, is decreasing your focus and energy. Adequate nutrition and exercise can help boost your concentration and energy levels, which can significantly increase the chances of personal success. Yeah, maybe you're just feeling frustrated because you're trapped in the house. Maybe it's because you have been not feeling so well about yourself or not taking care of yourself. So please make sure you take care of yourself, pile number 2, before making any final decisions about this situation or like determining if it's love or not. Because if you're in your truth taking care of you, it becomes a whole hell of a lot clearer who's for you and who's not, because it's so rare to find that true soul connection. So this person's going to stand out a ton when you get to that truth. Okay? Necessary lessons. In order to grow and evolve, you must unveil important lessons. Only through experiences can you achieve higher states of consciousness and understanding, including learning through obstacles and challenges. Trust it will all make sense in the end. Yeah, so I think Spirit is forcing you to kind of observe this situation and think about it differently than just right and wrong. You know what I mean? Like, again, if this person is struggling with their money, for example, making sure you're looking at all angles and including your own personal biases. Because just because maybe you went through a financial struggle, this person may not have the same situation with that. And with physical health, it's also like making sure that if you are more focused on another person's problems than your own, then you're going to have a very hard time knowing what love looks like, right? Because if you love somebody, you're not going to let that person harm themselves, You're going to want them to make the best decisions for you. And that you deserve money. Both people in this scenario both deserve it. So, hurting yourselves doesn't help anybody. Fear of failure. Attempting to avoid failure is making you miss out on opportunities. You will undoubtedly experience failure in the path to success, but don't let it dissuade you from making things happen that might have otherwise if you were still frozen in fear. Yeah, so I think you are terrified of losing this person. You're terrified of not finding someone if you walk away from this person. You're terrified of letting someone down if the truth isn't what it appears to be, And I think those are some pretty valid concerns, especially like with spiritual teaching, it's kind of like, depending on how you were raised, like maybe you were raised to like always give people second chances. Maybe you were raised to be generous and not think about it and give it up to God. But to me, the physical health thing is kind of showing me that you need to start prioritizing yourself, especially if you're going through some mental health or physical difficulties. Be like, hey, I don't have money to be handing out to people anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta really kind of tone it down on the being nice and start looking out for yourself, okay? Because remember, you are your first true love first. Okay, so now that we've got the situation, if that didn't resonate with you, please select another pile, or you might just be seeing a scenario playing out. So even if this person isn't a love interest, it definitely feels like it's a particular theme energy of needing to make sure you're taking care of yourself regardless of what the truth actually is going on with this person. Regardless if that person's having a midnight or, dealing with like dark night of the soul or whatever they're going through, you still got to take care of you, okay? Because you can't support that person because right now, whatever that energy is, someone's in a drain energy that it does not matter who they are. The Holy Spirit's got to take care of them, and you are not God. You are not that chosen person to save them. I'm just going to repeat that. You are not there to save them. You're there to love them. Those are two different things. Okay? We're going to start with the first person here. So I feel like this person has a more accurate truth than this person does. Okay? So we're going to see what the cards say to help identify who this person is and what their truth is, but also maybe what they're neglecting to mention that may be tripping you up or holding you back. We have dark man, dealings or relationship with a man with dark complexion or hair. Okay, so maybe that is a description of the person who's giving you advice. Maybe this person knows this person personally, so maybe you asked a friend of theirs, what's up? Or maybe I'm also seeing a beard. This could also be describing the person you're talking about. Yeah, okay, interesting. Hey, hello everybody. So I had some technical difficulties where the video just cut off halfway through the reading, so I'm going to go ahead and re-record this. So we had just wrapped up with going over the situation, and so now we're going to start talking about the first person pile here. Okay, all right. So if it's a little rusty at the beginning and slow going, that's okay. All right, so the first card we have is Can't Move On. I can't move on no matter how hard I try. We have Here We Go Again, Please, Wants Another Chance. We have I'm done worrying about what everyone else thinks. I'm following my heart and what makes me happy. You make me want to be a better person. Your love just does something to me. And then Dark Man. Dealing or relationship with a man with dark complexion or hair. Okay. So there's something about this situation where with pile number 1, I had been channeling before that they believe this person can't move on. All right, so whoever is in this situation or whatever, this is person's opinion about what's happening. But also too, it seems to be like whatever the second source is, there seems to be some kind of an ongoing energy. Maybe this second source is a person. And one of the things that I did pick up on my original recording is that maybe these two different people are options as opposed to someone giving you directly advice. You know what I mean? I do feel like this person 1 is a little bit more grounded than whoever this person is. Again, take only what resonates, but the one thing that they're pointing out here is Here We Go Again, Please Wants Another Chance. So maybe you've been thinking about letting this person back in, and this person's saying, oh, please. You know what I mean? Like, they're just going to go through the same cycle over and over and over again. However, I do feel like this person is a bit biased towards you. There's something about this person's energy, pile number 2, that you guys, I don't know if this person also has feelings for you, or there's just kind of a loving energy that's a little slightly distorted put towards you. So maybe this person feels very protective over you. Maybe there's something about them that they really truly want the best for you. However, they're kind of skewed towards their own favor or their own goals. With this Dark Man, when I was originally channeling this person, I can't tell if this Dark Man is towards this person, but there's some kind of third-party influence that's going on between the relationship of these two energies. And so, for some reason, there seems to be a secret that's happening behind this person's motives of telling you what they think you should do, or whoever this option is. You know what I mean? With the I'm done worrying about what everyone else thinks, I'm following my heart and what makes me happy. I feel like that's them trying to guide you to focus on your own happiness first before focusing on a relationship with another person or whatever's going on. They are inspired by you, pile number 2, and they really don't want to either see you back in this cycle with this other person, or again, with this dark-haired man, there's just some sort of an information that they can't seem to share with you that I think they just don't want you to give up on them because of whatever information has already been out there in regards to either this person or the situation. I feel like there was maybe some drama that's been unspoken. But this dark-haired man feels very significant. So again, this could either be the person that the situation is about, or there's a third party. So, okay. This is not nearly as in-depth as my original analysis of this energy, but I think this video is already going to end up being pretty long because of the sheer amount of cards that you got from this person over here. So again, this energy isn't necessarily one person is more right than the others. I just feel like this energy is a little bit more solid and grounded, but is skewed, versus this feels like firecracker energy. I don't really know how I'd like to interpret this, other than let's get into the cards because we got a lot. Okay. Okay, so we've got Jug, light-hearted, carefree time. Okay, so I feel like whoever is giving you advice in this second person's pile, or maybe representing this person, you'll know this is who this person is by their light-hearted. They try to keep things less serious. You know what I mean? Like focusing on the good times. Let's talk about happy stuff. You know, they really don't like they don't like to stay in the dumps for too long, which on the one hand, that's good because they do keep a positive attitude, but at the same time, they also ignore responsibilities a little bit. And again, with carefree, I feel like they would much prefer to sit in feeling carefree than focus on like difficult feelings or true love or anything like that. We have hard to read. You confuse me. You give me mixed signals. Okay. Okay, yeah, so maybe you are frustrated with this person, you know, and especially if this is like about a romantic relationship, you know, if you're choosing between two different people, you know, you're definitely going to get more clarity from this person in regards to how they feel about the situation, but how this person feels in regards to the situation, they're not going to tell you that much. If anything, you're going to be having to read between the lines. And I think for a majority of you, you've gotten frustrated with this BS. You know, with the mixed signals, you're like, all right, does this person have feelings for me? Do they not? There's just some kind of like unreliable energy of what's happening over here. We've got breaking point. I'm reaching my breaking point. I feel pulled to make a decision. I almost slipped and said like I'm forced to make a decision, you know, because I think there's something about this person over here who's really in their head. They're frustrated, they're distressed, they're in a lot of emotional turmoil, but they won't show it, you know. And I think that's what makes it harder for their mixed signals, because yeah, maybe they show up sometimes, but they're so focused on this breaking point energy that it's a little hard to judge what's actually going on with them. We have solitude. I'm taking a break from everyone and spending time alone. Now, I don't think that's very literal. Like, I don't see this person self-isolating, but I do feel like they are putting this situation on pause. Maybe not talking to you about it, or maybe they are just saying, hey, like, I need space to myself to figure things out here. We have burdens, been feeling overwhelmed. I have a lot going on in my life right now. Yeah, I can definitely see that, because there's just a lot of what's going on with this person. Again, I don't know if this is the person that you're inquiring about, because it's almost like with who's saying the truth and who's saying the lie, I feel like this is this person trying to like defend themselves against what you feel. And yeah, okay, I'm getting back into the swing of things. Drop into your heart space and feel me there. I'm always with you. Yeah, so this person does rely on intuition. And they're just trusting that either you feel the same or you understand where they're coming from, but they're really kind of going about it in a very toxic way, if that makes any sense. We have, I can feel your energy all around me. Oh God. Yeah, so maybe this person is not aware of their spiritual abilities. Maybe they are, again, really distorted with this breaking point. Like, I can see all of these thoughts in this person's head, and they're just like, dear God, I can't like detach, I can't separate. So that's why I think they might be just straight up avoiding you, because it's overwhelming and it's hard when they're dealing with all these other things, and then you're coming in and it's just like, oh God, all these feelings coming up, all of this emotion and this truth that I want to speak, but I can't say it because I'm angry and I've got all of these other things. If anything, I feel like whatever happened between you and this other person, this person has a fuck ton of truth that it almost like, it feels like vomit or word vomit, where you show up and then suddenly, bleh, like they can't, they don't want to even disclose any truth at all, because they're afraid that if they start talking, they won't stop, and they don't know how to self-regulate when they're in this energy. It's hard for me to open up. Yeah, I can say so. That tracks with the hard to read. I never wanted anything more than I want you. Aww. Aww, take that if that resonates with somebody. Yeah, I don't know. My eyes just keep getting drawn to solitude. This person's just saying, stay away from me right now. Just stay the heck away from me. I gotta figure things out. Maybe this person got dumped. Maybe there's like, for some reason I was seeing like water being poured on their head. I feel like they're just really trying to cleanse and clear and just, you know, dealing with enough other things that they're at the point where they're like, hey, I'm turning into someone else. I'm breaking free from everything in the past. I'm so tired of all this other dumb shit that, dude, you know what I mean? Okay, some more cards. We've got wishy-washy. Sexual only, no real emotions. Ha! That's a lie. That is such a lie. Out of time, too little, too late. Scrub, won't work, lives off of other people. Oh, Spirit just read them to filth. Bad parent, always puts their own needs before child's needs. Malicious, refuses to take responsibility, tries to ruin your reputation. Envy, jealous of someone else's success. Oh, this person's definitely envious of you, pile number 2. Wasted, waste of time. Dang, that's more confirmation from the beginning of this message with, you're like, are you wasting your time? And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of getting a yes. And the reason why is because I'm seeing with this envy card, this person's distortions are really focused on believing that why you're causing all this chaos in their mind and their energy and space, they just want to keep things sexual only. Okay, they literally are just like, like, I just want to have a good time, I just want to have sex. But the problem is they're so disconnected and distorted from their sexual body and their truth that they know they're out of time with you. You know what I mean? Like, I think, especially like with this, like, won't do the work, I think that this person is going to refuse to do the work that they need to do to make this relationship come to fruition because they can't handle it. And it's going to take them boiling over and breaking down to actually get what they want. With wishy-washy, that's why it's been so hard for them to be in control of their emotions. But the jealousy is really what's motivating this person to stay away. Because I feel like they're frustrated in your emotional maturity. So maybe this person's older than you. Maybe this person has a different perspective. And there's something about you that they don't even register that they're jealous. They just feel angry about something, and they think it's because, like, they're projecting and saying, like, oh, well, you think you're better than everyone else, or, oh, you know, you're trying to push me into commitment, I don't want to commit. You know what I mean? And then with bad parent, I don't think that's necessarily this person. I feel like this person does, though, put their own needs before their kid, like, before other people, and on top of it, I feel like they had bad parents. So whoever was parenting this person really didn't show them love in healthy, consistent ways. And so as a result of that, they're always putting themselves first. Okay, and that's why I think, like, in terms of, like, the liar and the truther, this person lies to themselves more than they lie to you, okay, intentionally. And right now, they're trying to focus on their own needs because if they have a distorted sense of self on the inside, they can't be honest with you. You know, with malicious, refusing to take responsibility, that is who this person is. You know, until they face the consequences of their actions, they're not going to deal with it. And so with, like, waste of time, though, I do feel like they feel bad. They feel remorse for wasting your time. And that's like with being wishy-washy, you know, they're trying to, like, play games a little bit, not necessarily to be manipulative, but because it's kind of like, it gives them a slight high. You know what I mean? It's kind of like they get that little tug of adrenaline, but then they know that there's such a rush, or because of whatever energetically is going on here, they can't contain it, and so then they shut down anything that is not sex, right? But they can't help it. Like, again, I can't even, from what I'm channeling with y'all, I don't really think you guys have ever been sexual, or there's only sexual fantasies. There really seems to be a very limited amount of sexual contact. Because if there was sexual contact, this person would explode. And I don't know if they could be a scrub anymore or whatever the heck, but, like, there's just something about them that it's very much like you're the key to what's going to get this person out of this funk, but they're refusing to be open because of their past situations, because they want to feel in control, they just want to have a good time. And, like, the thing is, you don't do casual sex. You're tired of this shit. You're like, I'm not going and rushing into this person that I have feelings for that is showing me all of this mixed bag mumbo jumbo, you know? Yeah. And with being hard to read, I feel like it's kind of intentional that way. So don't feel bad, pile number 2. It's really not your fault, but really ask yourself, what does true love mean? Because just because people have big feelings for you, If they don't know how to manage them, then it doesn't really matter, because your relationship is going to continue to look unhealthy, you know? And so, but at the same time, Spirit's reminding me to say that you have to focus on your own journey and not on this other person's. Like, to continue to keep yourself trapped and holding yourself hostage in life just because this person isn't getting their shit together, that's not on you. You know what I mean? That's between Spirit and them to work through. You know, and even if you know in your heart of hearts that this is maybe your person, your twin flame, your whatever the heck, it's kind of like with this dark-haired man, it's kind of like there's also somebody else out there waiting for you. You know, you do have options. And the intense feeling and emotions, that's kind of what it is. It's an intense feeling. And I know you're trying to say, like, well, there's more than just that. And it's like, of course. But you also need more. And if this person can't give you that and create that space for you, why are you going to sit around and feel miserable? Go make friends. Have partners. Get married. Do whatever you got to do. But don't wait for somebody that's intentionally choosing not to do the work. Okay? And over time, you're going to find more peace with that energy and understanding that, like, they have to learn to carry themselves. Okay? And pick themselves back up. Like, you're their lesson, not their lifetime. Okay? And remember, true love, like, lets that person exist in that paradigm. Okay? This isn't like Hollywood in the movies. This is the kind of love that says, I love you enough to let you go. And then I trust that when it's time and you're ready for me, you're going to come back to me. That's exactly what this person needs, is they need to know that there is some light at the end of the tunnel, that you're somebody worth going through all this bullshit for. And you're going to do a much better job manifesting this person into a healthier relationship with you and be more in balance with yourself and in tune when you say, hey, I release control and I'm totally a sovereign in this connection regardless of what they're going through, you know? And I can love that person unconditionally. And yes, I'd love to manifest them back, but only when they're matching my frequency. And no offense, if you were on the other end of that, like, what would you rather hear? If you were someone struggling and to cope and going through all this chaos and nonsense, would you rather hear that someone was sitting there in the background saying, hey, I love you no matter what, but I also love myself, and I know that we unconditionally love each other, so it doesn't matter what decisions we make, we're still in love? Would you rather hear that? Or, oh, hey, you know, I was waiting for you, and then you didn't get it together in time, and then now it's over. You don't have a chance anymore. Goodbye. You know what I mean? Like, those are two very harsh ways of looking at things, but I'm just trying to pose a different line of thinking for when you're obsessed with a person, you're not necessarily being grounded either. You know what I mean? You're trying to control the scenario and comfort yourself, right? Like, whenever you become obsessed with something, it's because you're lacking something. And so it would be easier to figure out what the truth is once you let go of the connection. Quit pretending that there's a timeline and focus on what lights your heart up. You know? I don't know. I'm hearing the word cousins too. I don't know if there's maybe family. But I want to pull one card to see what's going on with this dark man, because I'm a little confused about this third party thing. It feels like it's something that this other person doesn't want you to find out about. I'm hearing the word blurry, or something that you can't see yet, but it's going to be disappointing to you, and it's going to explain why Spirit's kind of trapping this person behind some doors. Okay, let's get into Dark Man. Know-it-all, unsolicited advice, annoying. Interesting. Okay, let's see, what is the blockage going on that this person's creating, potentially? Conflicting desires. Have several completely contradicting contradictory desires that cancel each other out. Only after you've found the reasons for all your conflicting currents and understand the root of this confusion will you be able to have one clear desire steadfastly in one direction. Yeah, so it's kind of like there's an energy of somebody's got to be the right one and someone's got to be the wrong one, or it's kind of like this energy of somebody trying to like mingle in and try to tell everybody what to do, right? Like, oh, like I could definitely see this person trying to tell this person like, well, you gotta work a 9 to 5 to please pile number 2, or you have to say this in order to get a girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like there's definitely like maybe some Andrew Tate vibes. So maybe this person was red pilled a little bit, and you don't know about that, or there's just some kind of like someone was giving really crappy dating advice that filled this person up with doubt and really screwed up their sense of self. I don't know. There's just some kind of an energy here where I'm like, I really don't like this of what's going on. Yeah, and then on top of it, maybe these are some negative things that this person's thinking about you, pile number 2. Like if they're calling you a know-it-all because maybe you're a female-bodied person, or maybe there's something about you that you are very smart and you can articulate. And so because of that, this person who is very skewed in a particular direction, they have desires conflicting with what's the best for everybody involved, but this person's kind of caught up in it, you know, because this person's a little more laissez-faire, easygoing. Yeah, and they're just feeling kind of judged and hurt. So, okay, y'all, well, this is kind of a much more complicated scenario than I was anticipating, but I hope that you guys benefited from this reading. Please like, subscribe, comment down below if you enjoyed this message and resonated with it. And if you're interested in booking a personal reading with me, links are in the description down below, and check out my blog. I will see you all next time. Take care. Bye. Hello, everyone. You have chosen pile number 3, which is being represented by the Boba Tea Kitty. And these are going to be your messages on who is lying and who is telling the truth. Okay, so how this reading is going to work is the middle pile is the situation that we're observing, and then there's person 1 and person 2, which, not gonna lie, y'all, when I was pulling your cards, it sounds like both of them were liars. So maybe you're getting some bad advice from 2 different people. There's definitely something is kind of skewed into another person's direction, but I feel like they have 2 different intentions, and they're both more like malicious towards you, if that makes any sense. Like they want to confuse you intentionally, but they're coming from different either points of view or different motivations. So, okay, let's figure out like what is this situation that everyone's lying about and trying to convince. Pile number 3. Okay, so we've got stalker, an insecure male or female. You have my whole heart. Blocked throat chakra. This chakra is blocked and affecting your communication and self-expression. Heal your throat chakra to help you with communication and self-expression by using crystals or finding time to journal to cultivate the capacity to listen to yourself. Wanting to be saved. Others may help you, but it's still on you to generate your own success. Believe in who you are and realize that you are more powerful than you know. Dare to go after what you want and be your own savior. And perfectionism. Progress over perfection. Still waiting for that perfect plan, that perfect moment to arrive. Stop waiting because the time is now, with the understanding that you will constantly be making the changes needed to survive and flourish. I don't know why I keep smiling. It just really feels like something's just bad for you, pile number 3. Like, to me, it's like choosing between a rock and a hard place, or like nobody here in this scenario fully understands the situation as much as you do. And I feel like there's a truth not being spoken, and I think it's you. I think you are not speaking up for yourself. So say, for example, there's like a conflict that's going on, and one person has a very strong voice in the situation, and then the other person is opposing that person. Then there's you, pile number 3, where you agree with one of the 2, but you don't say anything. Okay? You're not speaking up for yourself. And then you're allowing these people to come in and influence you from different angles. So even if, like, there's not really a bad guy, I mean, okay, there's kind of a bad guy here in this energy, but what I'm saying is because you're in that energy, you're now attracting these two different people that they're just butting heads, and they're like, it's literally like they're both kind of beating you up at the same time. With the waiting to be saved, I feel like that's kind of more your energy, and that's why you're allowing these types of frequencies into your space. Okay, because you want, like, I can see you being like, oh, well, I want to see a different perspective than myself. And then this person over here is trying to sell you something versus this person's trying to manipulate you. You know what I mean? It's like there's kind of like this whole, you're externalizing a lot of your truth and your ability to discern things from someone outside of you. Okay? And then with perfectionism, you're also waiting around for like the perfect plan, the perfect body, the perfect person, the perfect whatever. Meanwhile, like, you've got people that are actively just kind of watching you because they're predatory. Okay, they're literally sitting there waiting to pounce on you. They're like, okay, once this person becomes successful, bam, we got them. You know what I mean? That's why they're trying to collect all your information. They're trying to ask all these questions about you. They want to spin a story, all this other stuff. This is like really bad, pile number 3. I'm not gonna lie, I think you got yourself into quite a situation here. With the "you have my whole heart," I think that's what people are lying about. Is people are trying to make themselves out to be, oh, I'm your best friend, or oh, I'm whatever, blah, 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 and then they're slowly siphoning your energy. These are some soul-crushing times, but damn, these people are low. These people are really low. You know what I mean? I see these people definitely like wanting to take your bank account, your bank information. There's an energy of like a lot of trauma bonding. So maybe because you're down on your luck right now, or again, you're a nice person, these people are coming in trying to be like, oh, I can save you. Or they're also waiting to be saved. And then they're dragging you right down with them. So like maybe, for example, you were doing fine, and then this person came along, and then this person came along, and they brought all their friends, and then they just used you up and spit you out, and then ended up crapping on you afterwards. Know what that feels like. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get into the 2 different people that are lying to you. So we're going to start with liar number 1. We're going to get into how you can identify what this person's lying about and who this person is. Okay, so we've got only you. I'm not seeing anyone else, if that's what you're wondering. Well, I don't necessarily think that's true. I think they're lying about that. I'm not gonna lie. You will hear from me soon. We belong together. It's hard for me to open up. Yeah, so this person, liar number 1, is someone who is a romantic partner. They are somebody who promises connection. They promise talking to you. They whisper sweet nothings. They make excuses being like, well, it's hard because of all the trauma I went through. Or like, we belong together and you're the only one I think about. That's fucking horseshit. Don't believe that for a minute, okay? Because this person is just going through the motions with you. And they either want your money or they just want your attention. You know, because that's the thing, is like, even if it's not necessarily super malicious, they just want your energy. They just want to sit next to you because they know there's something about having you around that makes them more valuable. Or they just want your energy. Sometimes there's just people like that. We have deny, doesn't want to claim you in public. Yeah, so if this is a romantic partner or somebody that you're dating, they are intentionally not sharing you on social media. Because if one girl knows, or one guy knows, then everyone else fucking knows. Right? Anybody who does not share you on social media anybody who does not share you on social media, especially if you're working together, if you got mutual friends, if they're sharing a photo of you but not tagging you, that is a red flag, okay? I'm only saying it because this is what this person intends, is they want to look single as hell. They want you to feel like you're somehow special and important, but they will prioritize other people consistently. But they'll sweet talk you every time you hang out. We've got rotten, good girl gone bad. Mm-hmm. That's what they like to do with you, right? They're like, ooh, this is someone I can take advantage of. They walked away from their privileged life. They walked away from safety. So now they're like, oh yeah, come on over here to play. These people love to work on folks that have been through something in the past. That gives everyone the benefit of the doubt. That knows that secretly you're trying to be the hero. You want to make the world a better place. And they're like, okay. Let me have fun with you with that. We have avoidance, doesn't want to label the relationship. Mm-hmm. Excuses, excuses, excuses. Flirt with you, but then see other people. Blatantly talk about other people in front of you when they know how you feel about them. Yeah, I think that's the thing too. Is like this person definitely knows how you feel about them, and that's why they're playing in your face. And they think it's so funny. Spiritual thief steals from readers, spiritual people, and credits fake accounts. And creates fake accounts. Yeah, this person copies your ideas. They love how you think. They love the way that you move. Immediate discard once you stop being fun or stop being useful. Female detective. Okay, so whoever this person is, again, this doesn't even have to be a guy or a romantic interest, but this is someone who's definitely at least involved with you, trying to be flirty or whatever. This person has been keeping an eye on you. They've been watching you. They watch the things that you talk about. They figure out what motivates you. They don't always believe the good girl thing, if you're nice or not, but they definitely are someone that just watches and waits. You know? Again, you just reel them in, you keep them in the circle. They think they have their claws in you. And maybe not. However, they are playing a strategic game with you. Okay? So don't be surprised when you show up to a party and everyone knew something that you didn't. Don't be surprised if you see this person playing some fucked up games with somebody else. Because that could be you. However, you're smart. And because you are a good person, you aren't going to show up in the ways that either they anticipate or that they want you to. Because you're being divinely guided. You're being protected from this kind of energy. So you might not have showed up at the right time that they wanted you to. Or maybe you made a different decision. Maybe you're a little more independent than they anticipated. In any case, as long as you're telling the truth, this energy is going to clear out and go away. Okay? But whatever they're trying to tell you, convince you of, you gotta leave town without them. Okay? Don't give this person any money. Don't give this person your time of day. Don't have sex with them. Don't worship them. Don't say shit to them. Once you figure out what they're lying about, you're not gonna want to be around. But, you know, they've got a laundry list of karma, so they can continue to play their games. Okay, so let's get into person number 2 who's lying. So, person number 2 who's lying is lying about a secret they have. Okay. It's a good and a bad secret, I guess. And that's why, to me, I'm like, well, I don't like the way that this person's going about this. So I don't know if this is like a friends with benefits or someone who is taking advantage of your feelings again. But this feels more romantic in nature, where maybe they're lying about their true feelings. This could feel like a friend who is secretly crushing on you and waiting for you to fall into their lap and their arms. They're being like, oh yeah, I totally understand, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, come on over. And then you don't. This definitely gives like manipulative, hey, I am expecting this from you. And if you don't do this, then I'm going to crash out. Right? We have karmic family member. Okay, so maybe this is a family member of yours who's trying to convince you that other people in the family are lying, other people are doing things against you because they really care about you. Leech, annoying, won't leave you alone. Yeah, so this is the kind of person that I could definitely see this person leaving and then coming back and then blah, 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 blah. They need you to do everything for them. Okay? Everything has to be done by you. And so when you don't show up, or if you don't reach out, or whatever, they have a tantrum, or they have a fit, and they judge you. Right? It's definitely somebody who feels very immature. and they just kind of watch you. You know what I mean? Maybe they secretly get jealous while you're hanging out with other people and making other people, I don't know, it just, this person feels like your world revolves around them. So when you get like another friend that you're hanging out with, this person is jealous as shit. But then they proceed to flake on you, they proceed to not communicate, they do blah blah blah. It's kind of like, come on. You're riding off the back of someone else's success or someone else's energy. I can feel your energy all around me. Yeah, so I do feel like this person may be spiritually watching you too. They might be doing tarot readings, getting readings on you. Yeah, I feel like they'd rather talk to an energy than a person. And it's like, well, okay, but after a certain point, you need to confront your problems. You know? I forgive you. And you're like, for what? And it's like, exactly. Right? This person has already been judged. You've been tried. What is it? Tried, judged, and sent to jail, and then forgiven, all without your knowledge, by this person. And so there's a little bit of a self-righteous attitude here where it's like, okay, well, you know, the way that person treated me the other day, I'm not going to tell them I'm upset with you. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit there and I'm going to be angry, and then I'm going to think it through, and then I'm going to forgive them and be like, okay, now I can move forward. Meanwhile, that other person's just living their life, having no idea. And then when you do the thing again, said person is like, oh my God, I can't believe they did it again. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you can't have relationships completely in your head all the time. And trying to pull, like this person wants to pull you either from this person or they just want you all to themselves, right? Like there's two different energies. They're just energy vampires just trying to extract from you. It's just this person has more care as opposed to the other person. You know, so maybe, like I said, they're trying to convince you of something, but it's also like, well, because we're family. Because we shared, like, feelings and all this other stuff. Chosen family. That means you're going to show up for me no matter what, right? And it's like, well, not when you're trying to manipulate me. Not when you're abandoning me and expecting perfectionism. We've got unchanged. I am who I am, not who you want me to be. I'm not going to change. Yeah, so another sign of who this person is they absolutely have no form of accountability. This is the kind of person that if you say, hey, what you said hurt my feelings, and they flip out, right? They're the kind of person that they immediately push it back on you. They clap back. They're like so quick to come back at you. And you're like, what the hell did I do? Yeah, it's because they've been stewing and keeping everything pent up inside. And they have an issue being able to receive criticism. And so because they're like, well, there's nothing wrong with me, everything's wrong with you, you're not really going to get through with this person. That's where the leech behavior comes in, where it's like automatically you're like, hey, you know what? Do you mind like contributing some money towards this thing, or do you mind doing this? And they're like, nope, not my problem, because you did blah, 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 blah. And it's like, what, time out? You know? Yeah, I just feel like you trigger this person a lot, but then they secretly like you. And so then it turns very confusing because you don't align with the fantasy. And also too, because like you also need to speak up your truth, right? And I think that's where you guys are kind of mirroring each other, is like there's a lack of communication in general, because it's kind of like, instead of being vulnerable and saying, hey, you know what? I was feeling a certain kind of way about it. This person may have reacted a little differently. However, I do feel like this person, again, that leechy type energy, they just rely on you always having a blank check for them. Secret love. I've kept my love for you a secret. It's too complicated to explain. What did I say about secrets? Yeah, no, and I think you don't really know who this person is. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think you're gonna see this coming. Because I don't know if a confession's coming. I don't know if there's just like, they could feel really triggered by you because they're in love with you. You know what I mean? They're being triggered because they're just like, hey, how did you not see these signals I was sending? How did you not, whatever? And then, oh God, that's messy. That is messy. Yeah, I don't know if this person is either used to feeling desired by you, and they kind of were fantasizing that it was romantic, when a romantic partnership or like a flirty fling thing that was going to eventually evolve into something, and then you were like, no. Yeah, I don't think you know who this person is. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. All right, we've got divinely guided. Okay, so this person could be spiritual. You know, maybe that was something they're lying about, is maybe they were trying to convince you, oh, yeah, this relationship's a bad idea. You sure? Or is it because you were jealous? Oh, yeah, I'm divinely guided to say this and this. Are you sure? You know what I mean? I don't know. There's just like a little bit of like, I don't think this is them intentionally being like manipulative. You know what I mean? That part, I genuinely feel like this person just doesn't see their own blockages, especially like when it comes to channeling and whatnot, and being a clear and accurate channel. We all reflect our own personal biases, regardless of whatever a reading is. However, at the same time, I do feel like this person has a tendency to distort the things that they hear because they don't want you knowing the truth. They don't want you having boundaries. They don't want you to level up and then eventually leave them. So, and I think that's a very subconscious wound. I don't think that's really intentional. But yeah, I do feel like there's just some karmic ties with this person. We also have missing you. I never missed anyone in my life as much as I miss you. Ooh. Ooh. Interesting. Yeah, I'm feeling some passive aggressive shade right now. Basically being like, well, why didn't you come after me and try to make me feel better? Why are you giving this person attention? So it's almost like you keep going back and forth between these two different energies of, here's this person over here that's wasting your time because you're trying to feel like you fit in, and then this person's also wasting your time, but they're not saying anything about their truth, and then they're playing victim about it when things aren't going their way, and then they don't reach out. And so it's kind of like this whole game that you're playing back and forth without you even knowing it. They're like, oh, well, I invited you to this thing and you didn't show up. So, like, I guess they're not interested in me. But then you reached out this other time, like, why are you playing games with my head and my mind? Meanwhile, they have not said anything, or were not very clear. Yeah, I don't know. These energies ain't it. I'm sorry. So yeah. Basically, y'all, it sounds like this is a case of both either like friendship or family, or there's just some kind of energy here where people are just draining you and it has nothing to do with you, but you really got to protect yourself to heal the pattern that's allowing these people into your life. So kind of looking at these energies right here, the way that you can really break free from this cycle is work on these three things, okay? Don't wait around to save anyone, and don't wait around for you to be saved by any of these people, right? Because you might be feeling, I need to stick around these people so I'm not alone, right? Or like, I need a leader in my life and we've chosen you, or you know what I mean? Like, there's all kinds of like different scenarios for all of y'all for why you may stay around a certain person. However, like, trying to follow what's going on with other people and trying to like be involved and engaged is not going to help you empower yourself, and it's not going to get you the energy back that you're losing dealing with these people. With blocked throat chakra, really learn to talk to yourself clearly, okay? Talk to yourself clearly. Know who you enjoy spending time around, why you enjoy spending time around them, and what do you get out of it. Okay, be honest, because here's the thing, a lot of us are taught to be like, oh, well, I don't want it to be transactional, right? Yeah. However, if someone's mooching off of you, that's not being a friend. That's being a mooch, right? And with perfectionism, right, because you guys are projecting perfectionism onto yourself, you're not doing it to these other people, but you're doing the opposite, right? So you're having unrealistic, perfectionistic standards for yourself, but then lower standards for the people outside of you, okay? So then You got to switch that a little bit or balance it out so that way you're not being so hard on yourself for not being perfect, but you're also expecting higher quality from the people in your relationships. You're expecting a give and take. You know what I mean? You're not keeping score. You're not sitting there being like, oh, okay, that one time they paid for this and they have to pay for this and all that. Like, no. That's not what we're talking about. What we are saying, though, is if someone says something disrespectful to you, ask yourself, was that person intending to be disrespectful or not? Why do you feel disrespected? Listen to yourself and then articulate. Because what can happen is sometimes if we're feeling disrespected, we could be living with an echo from someone in our past that hurt us. And especially if you try to confront somebody, that may not go over the way you intend to, right? And I totally get this, because it's like sometimes I would feel like, oh my gosh, like that person was being so disrespectful to me. And then I realized that culturally, there's all kinds of different meanings to respect. And so it's up to you to articulate how do you want to be treated, how you want to enforce your boundaries. But if you don't communicate those, people can't read minds, okay? And so it's a lot less empowering to immediately try to point a finger or start doing blame. It's better to sit and just kind of wait and say, okay, I know very clearly what I'm experiencing. I'm feeling very clearly this certain kind of way. I want to articulate it promptly, but also at the same time, I'm going to hold space for myself and then see how that other person reacts to it. Because when you're operating from that level of control in your own space, then it becomes a lot easier to diffuse a situation, to talk it through, and then you end up being less triggered in general because you have already sustained that strength within yourself, so then other people don't trigger you. You know what I mean? And then again, just with the waiting to be saved, don't wait for other people, don't make assumptions, just say, hey, this is what I'm doing, keep it less emotional, be consistent, apologize if you make a mistake, and move on. Like, don't say stop in these people's energy because that's what they're doing. They are attention whores, okay? They love your attention. And it doesn't matter who you are, really. These people, they're just desperate in general. And, you just gotta kick off the leashes. You know what I mean? And then that will teach them and yourself how you can and can't be treated. Anyways, y'all, thank you so much for stopping by. Please like, subscribe, comment down below if this message resonated with you. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, links are in the description down below. I will see you all next time. Take care. Bye. Hello, everyone. You have chosen pile number 4 with the Donut Kitty. And these are going to be your messages on who is the liar and who is telling the truth. So what was kind of funny is when I started channeling this pile's frequency, I immediately was thinking to myself, this is bigger than just like a person. So I don't know if you guys are into conspiracy theories. I don't know if you're trying to channel my thoughts on politics, or if you're trying to think about a politician, a CEO, or somebody major and famous. Not gonna lie, those are not readings I'm going to be doing. Just saying. However, for this pile though, what I found very interesting was the lying energy was the situation itself. The situation itself is a lie or information about the situation, and then we've got 2 different energies over here. So this is going to be a little more of an abstract reading because the energy is very abstract. So just follow along for the ride, see if it resonates, and if not, okay? All right, so let's look at this situation that's apparently a lie. We've got the 2 of coins, or 2 of pentacles. We've got secrets, something you don't know. Ooh, tea. Entitled, lives a privileged life that treats everyone like shit. Ooh, nervous breakdown, can't cope, or financial stress. Look at that drum on there too. That gives me a little military vibes. You know, I'm thinking Revolutionary War with their fife and drum corps. We have betrayal, throwing you under the bus. I just want to love you the way that you deserve to be. Blocked third eye chakra may feel non-assertive, afraid of success, bad intuition, or make you egotistical. To heal your third eye chakra, practice meditation while using crystals to connect to your intuition and subconscious, which you can then rely upon for guidance. Physical health. Living an unhealthy lifestyle is decreasing your focus and energy. Adequate nutrition and exercise can help boost your concentration and energy levels, which can significantly increase the chances of personal success. Okay, so to me, this feels almost like whatever problem you're trying to channel or get clarification from, it's tied into something much more bigger than the situation at hand. So, Two of Pentacles in reverse, that's all about being out of balance, ungroundedness, with secrets entitled nervous breakdown, betrayal. That just really feels like the energy of what's going on in society right now. Like, it doesn't seem to matter if it's politics, if it's the economy, if it's personal relationships. There's a lot of nasty energies that's the collective's going through. I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's like, with that secrets, it almost feels like there's this impending like truth that's about to be revealed. Collectively, where, for example, I'm seeing like lover, I don't know, lover written there. So maybe there's a secret affair that's been happening and it's going to get public or going to have like eyes on it or whatever. With entitled, I feel like there's like this energy of people feel entitled to know what's going on about either a person or a particular situation. Or they're just entitled to that person's energy or ideal in general. So this could be a number of things. This could be about a particular individual and their own personal business that's maybe more public figure or just very popular. But with secrets, I feel like that's where you guys are trying to get clarification, is there's a mess, okay? There's a full mess. You've got 5 to 10 different people telling you different stories about what's happening. One person's telling you this, another person's telling you this. Your intuition, on the other hand, seems to be skewed towards your own personal bias and what you want to hear, and it's made you a little bit egotistical. Which, being perfectly honest, totally get that. Every tarot reader, every spiritual person who can channel things, we all got to get our asses kicked every once in a while. Like, we all need a refresher course to go back to basics and say, hey, let me remember what it's like actually channeling with my third eye. Remember what the purpose is. Why did I become spiritual? Why do I want to work with God and spirit and all these other things, right? Or am I here to gossip about people? Or am I here to actually help people? Am I here to solve something? Or am I here to get control, right? Because for some people, like for example, politics, there's all kinds of witches that try to influence politics and whatnot. Being perfectly honest, I don't think how channeling things with your third eye is really going to benefit you when you really don't have that much control over it. Do all the spell work you want on certain political figures, but that's not how spiritual work and magic works. And you just got to take your ego out of the third eye a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like tarot and channeling is all meant to be a good time and can be a really great tool, but when you start using it to manipulate others, when you start using it to predict the future, like I'm getting the energy of like using your intuition to protect or predict the stock market, right? And trying to influence things or whatever. There are plenty of people who do it. However, like with the betrayal here, it's really feeling like there's something that's been either thrown, like you got thrown under the bus. I'm seeing with your heart here. So maybe society failed you, a particular person failed you, there was a failure of some kind to hold somebody accountable, and now there's a pretty nasty truth that's about to get revealed. In nervous breakdown, maybe you caused someone to have a nervous breakdown. Maybe there's these secrets that have been floating around for years that no one wanted to discuss. And yeah, it just feels like a very loud betrayal type energy. And then also with physical health. So for example, I'm also feeling like the conspiracy theory, like talking about like the public healthcare system, right? So obviously there's a lot of things messed up in American healthcare. However, there's also a huge movement to go against the grain. And then now we have a bunch of misinformation, people selling snake oil. And it's very hard to determine what is actually good for your health. And everybody's entitled to the best form of healthcare possible, right? But health isn't a uniform thing, right? And there's the whole like, well, I just want you to be loved the way that you deserve. You know what I mean? I'm thinking of, I'm getting like TikTok energy where it's like, you deserve better, queen. You deserve better, queen. And it's like, well, but you also have to give something back to society. You know what I mean? You can't take and extract from people and then hold it all to yourself. That's not how communities work. That's not how things should be. And that's why they're falling apart right now. And the Two of Coins is just showing me, yeah, like this nervous breakdown is a collective energy for a lot of people to realize you are not the star of the show. You are not supposed to just get away with treating people however. And your ego needs to be separated from what your heart and your mission is. Right? I know you were betrayed. But what are you going to do about that? You've got a life to live. And being entitled to other people's lives, their personal information, isn't acceptable. Okay? Like, again, if you're trying to get tarot readings about somebody that is being divinely protected, you're not going to get accurate information about them. Spirit's going to spin you in circles. Okay? And just because you watch one tarot reading, even one of my tarot readings about somebody, does not mean that that's a cut and dry method of determining who a person really is. There's a certain amount of mystery in life that y'all got to figure out on your own. And, yeah, that's where kind of like the lying's coming in, is you're just kind of used to being in this distorted place. And honestly, though, I mean, while this is kind of calling you out, pal number 4, it's also the nature of what's going on in today's society. We are used to being in a surveillance state. We are used to our information being publicly available. We have phones that you are supposed to be available 24/7 and you can't disconnect. Okay? Like, there's so many different factors into why people are crashing out the way that they are, why human relationships have deteriorated, our ability to connect with each other. Okay? So understand that whatever your question is and whatever you're trying to work through, there's so many more layers and factors to it that you have to disillusion the situation itself from all this other crap. All these other people getting in your hair, your ear, all the tarot readings, all the whatever. Just really take a step back and show the world who you actually are. Okay? Because it doesn't matter what people say. It's about how they behave and how they follow through with those words. You know, you can give a kick-ass speech, but if you're not going out there and proving who exactly you are, then no one's going to believe you. And on the flip side, people can come up with all kinds of lies about you. But if you show up and show the world who you really are, a lie is not going to fucking stick. Not for very long. You know what I mean? So show up with integrity and really clear out everything that's in your own field that's causing you to not read your own truth. You know? Because your truth is ultimately the best tool you have for navigating life. And truth is subjective, and it's going to change over time. Okay? Like, there's not like one universal truth out there. There's just your truth and your perception, and we're always refining it. No offense, if you've got the same truth that you've had when you were younger to when you're older, if it's going to last that long, it will have been tried and challenged many, many times for it to be worth anything. Right? That's why, like, old adages, wisdom, you know, different things like that. If your dad taught you a certain type of thing, like I'm thinking with my dad. My dad taught me to keep a good sense of humor because that will help you get through anything. And I totally agree with that. As long as you've got a good sense of humor, it really does help throughout whatever. But that's also because I've tested it, tried it. It's a piece of who I am now, you know? So, as I said, a real truth inside of you is one that's going to show up for you time and time again. A false truth within yourself or a situation, it's going to crumble when light exposes it. You know, people will be exposed. And light's going to show everything towards what they've been up to in private. Either towards you, towards the situation, yeah, that's going to show and reveal everything to everybody involved. So, yeah. You can go ahead and say what you want, but it's time. All right. So, okay. So these two energies, we've got who's telling the truth and who's telling the lie. I'm feeling that this is the lying pile and this is the truth pile. Okay? Now, this is predominantly the lie that's distorting everything, right? So like I said, if this is a prominent person or something that is affecting a lot more people than just the people immediately involved, so like for example, if this is like a family, or I feel like this is bigger than a family, but I think like from a more smaller scale, this situation has moved beyond just two people having a conflict. This is gone out there. Maybe something went viral. Maybe someone posted or shared something on TV. I don't know, that's like some really big stuff. So I don't know if maybe someone's in the news because of a trial or like, I don't know. But let's go ahead and focus on who's, oh, I'm hearing, let's start with the liar. Okay, let's start with the liar in the situation. What are they lying about? I think they're just lying about the truth, right? So we've got the High Priestess in reverse. Okay? So this is somebody who is a false prophet. This is someone who claims to have intuition, divine insight. Somebody who likes to... They're manipulative. And the problem is maybe because this person's well-liked, people automatically side with them right away. And they're used to getting away with that. That being enough to get them through life. With the High Priestess in reverse, though, I also feel like this is someone with a very distorted sense of self. I was about to say intuition, but self, I think, is the reason why they're having a hard time connecting to source accurately, simply because they don't know the difference between what is an internal thought and what is a psychic message, right? As I said before, when you're channeling, we all have intrinsic biases, you know, and as we learn to heal and work through our skills and abilities, obviously you're never going to be 110% accurate. You're going to make mistakes. This is different. Okay, this person is not unintentionally making mistakes. They are intentionally manipulating energies, and or they're a fraud. Like I'm seeing like the Wizard of Oz. You know what I mean? Making up stories, saying people said stuff to them which actually wasn't true, because they're really just hollow. Like I'm literally seeing like a ghost. So maybe this person was good back in the past, but they ain't now. You know? And that's kind of sad. They didn't sustain. And I feel like a lot has happened to this person too. So I think right now a lot of the lying is just coming from trying to save face. You know? And just from being exposed. You know? In which case, they're going to deny it when the evidence comes out, but it's going to be like, oh, this is my truth. Here's the screenshots, here's the video, here's the whatever. And this person's just going to deny it until the court says something differently. And then they just have to accept it. But their psyche's going to bury them so far away from the truth because it's just too hard to understand or accept for them. Waiting to be saved. Others may help you, but it's still on you to generate your own success. So how you'll know who this person is this person's constantly seeking validation from others. Okay, so this person can't sit still and they can't sit within themselves. They maybe lack boundaries. So maybe 1 minute they're all in your face, the next minute they're pulled back, right? And they don't believe in themselves. They don't believe in their own abilities, okay? And the thing is that they have learned to just siphon from the people around them, either taking ideas, telling people what's wrong with them. I see a lot of like finger pointing and blaming and shaming when they're doing the exact same thing behind closed doors. And they often play victim to a point where after a couple years go by, if you haven't done the work, you haven't done the work. And it shows. Because when all those people that were around you protecting you leave you, you won't have anything. Okay? That's how you're going to know that this person was fake, because when all the talented people go away or they start distancing themselves from you, they're going to be like, oh, well, I walk alone. I was like, no, You need to be alone. Fix your head. Not big enough risks. Taking small risks, but not big enough to make an impact on your success. So another sign that this is the liar is because they are a little too quiet. They seem a little sheltered, and they won't rock the boat. Okay? So what they do is, this is a person that maybe they got the spotlight too soon. Maybe they couldn't handle it. I could definitely see this person being someone who was hired as like an upper manager, but it was because of who their father was. Or, you know, they had like family connections, and so they just got used to lying because they are used to like, oh, well, we just got to play peacekeeper and everything's going to be okay. But they didn't actually learn the conflict resolution skills. And because they won't take the risk of being themselves, they're slowly eroding their success. You know what I mean? It's like you can only ride popularity for so long before results take a toll on you. Okay? And I feel bad a little bit because I don't feel like this person genuinely intended to hurt anybody. I think what they just were doing is they were in survival mode. They were following their parents' footsteps. They were following somebody else, and they're taking the fall from a system and an upbringing that failed them fundamentally. Right? Like, this person, in order for them to overcome whatever situation this is, they have to step out of the shadows and be whoever the fuck they are. If not, they're going to go back into the shadows and they're just going to fade away. And they will be a ghost. You know, maybe this person's very stressed out about this. And, you know, there's a lot of risky elements and factors to this person's situation. You know? So, yeah, I'm feeling like a lot of anxiety, heart palpitations. I can't wait to fall asleep in your arms. You mean the world to me. We have Joker, lives in hypocrisy and enjoys it. Bitter, good guy gone bad. Yeah, this is giving me like fallen angel vibes. This is giving me, I was used to getting my way. I put in the work, now I'm gonna coast, or maybe they didn't put in the work. But like with this Joker, they played in way too many people's faces. You know? They were playing in people's faces. So this person is not necessarily innocent. Not by a long shot. Because just because you were raised a certain kind of way, you're responsible for undoing those unhealthy patterns and not systemically hurting people. Okay? Like, because this person has not hurt just you guys, pile number 4. Maybe they hurt other people. Maybe they hurt someone adjacent to you. But I can't wait to fall asleep in your arms. I just feel like they're very emotional towards this situation. I think they just want there to be peace and rest. And you mean the world to me. I think this person, another way you can tell that this is them is because a lot of people love this person or who they thought this person was. And what I don't think people realize is the pressure that this person went through. They were a good guy, maybe one time, but they changed. And not without good reason, it seems like. Again, it's a very complicated situation, but like if people gotta lie to this degree and go through all this crazy transformational shit, like something happened. You know? Something clearly happened. I don't know if there was like a nervous breakdown, some kind of mental thing that this person just, they were gone for a long time. Which I can relate to. I know what it's like to die on the inside. And I wouldn't be surprised if that actually kind of fucking happened to this person. You know? Because it's very hard to, especially if you're a public figure, a manager, or whatever, to maintain either a mental illness, family disruptions, a dysfunctional system, and then go out there and try to be spiritual and speak your truth. You know what I mean? It's like this person's been living two different lives, completely adjacent. In the I can't wait to fall asleep in your arms, yeah, it's just, like I said, like this liar person just wants it to be over. That's kind of what they're lying about. I think, I'm not gonna lie, I think this person might end up suicidal as a result of whatever's going on, either between you two, between the situation, or whatever. And yeah, I hope this person heals. You know, I think this person definitely is going through a hard time, and I don't know, maybe you should reach out to them. All right, so now on to the person who's telling the truth. So I think the person that's telling the truth is going to be significantly more successful as a result of the situation, as a result of telling the truth, for not lying in the first place, for being honest about not knowing things or trying to speculate or just trying to be supportive. Because I have a feeling like this person was trying to live in the dark. This person was trying to live in the light, and they were trying to connect to this person, and then it just caused all this shit to become blown out of proportion, come to light, create drama and chaos. And this person was just like, I was just trying to help. And I think this person kind of knows that, but they don't want to acknowledge it because that is really so far removed from where they're at spiritually inside of themselves that it's very hollow. Okay? We've got the moon. Okay? So you can tell the person who's telling the truth by the moon, where there's a lot of subconscious wounds coming to light, right? So maybe this person's able to look back and reflect on what they did wrong in this situation. They're able to identify specifically what their thoughts and feelings were at the time and say why they're doing what they're doing. And they can hear people. You know what I mean? Like, this person knows how to walk in moonlight. They are not uncomfortable with experiencing difficult truths, holding space for multiple thoughts. And this person has a lot of duality, because even though, like, I see that crescent moon, I'm also feeling like I'm seeing like a sun and a moon at the same time. And I just see this ghost just kind of casually walking, where it's like, oh yeah, everyone else is freaking out and you're just sitting there going like, it's another Saturday. It be what it be. Okay, we've got circle of friends. Your inner circle is having a negative impact on your life. Make it your mission to surround yourself only with people that bring out the best in you, so they influence you in the right way. Okay. So what I'm feeling with this person who's telling the truth is maybe they had to walk away from a toxic circle of friends that were staying away and avoiding something that was going on. Maybe the person that was telling the truth went against the grain. And maybe they made some people uncomfortable and pretty angry, which caused people to start drama against said person, only to find out it was true. And then it started to expand and domino. You know? Yeah, I definitely feel like with this truth teller, this person is not afraid to walk alone. This person is probably walking alone or have walked away. But they're going to get wrapped up in something eventually, maybe legal proceedings or something. However, yeah, with the make it your mission to surround yourself only with people that bring out the best in you, I feel like the truth teller in this situation is also the one that is encouraging people to be their best selves. And it's not coming from a place of lies, it's coming from a place of truth. You know? I think they openly speak out about stuff all the time, so it's not a surprise that this is one more thing that they speak up on. Blocked throat chakra. This chakra is blocked off and affecting your communication and self-expression. Okay, so another thing about this truth teller is maybe this person didn't tell the truth right away. Maybe this person was feeling uncomfortable speaking up against this person, you know? Like for example, if this truth teller is a victim, you know, they might have held back feelings and thoughts for years before deciding to go public about something or speak out about something. Yeah, but with throat chakra, I feel like the person who's telling the truth was the person who was not telling the truth in the past and then are speaking up now because they have the strength to do that. You know, like the people who are, you're not really gaining anything from sharing the information either. You know, I mean, yeah, there's definitely gain for taking down somebody who's a problem, but this person really feels like it's different when you walk away from a group of people to express your truth, as opposed to, yeah, I'm going to stay cozy with my friends and then also speak this stuff. You know what I mean? And spread rumors and do all that other stuff. It's like, no. You know? We've got love life. Oh, man. Was there like an affair that happened? Oh, God. We've got your love life is somehow causing you to get sidetracked and off balance. Seek a better balance between your work life and your love life. Take time to prioritize and realize that you don't have to sacrifice your success to have love. Yeah, damn. Okay, so maybe the person who's telling the truth, that's what fucked everything up, was the love life. You know, maybe this person was supposed to go and be successful, and then they let their involvement with this other person get in the way of their judgment. And they got hurt pretty bad. And then they decided to stand up for themselves, and then it caused all this other fucking chaos. That's to say that doesn't mean that love doesn't exist in this situation. It just really feels like someone's backtracking and withdrawing with purpose and with intention. Yeah, someone just got caught in the crossfire or the crosshairs of something. Okay, we have, I wish we could be together right now. Aww. Yeah, something happened between these two people. Because like I said, like this person, when they're lying, it's not because they are lying to manipulate people. It's because they can't admit the truth. That's what's the reality, you know? You will forever be my always. I want to talk to you, but don't know what to say. Yeah, I mean, especially if you expose someone's dirty secrets and caused a fuck ton of drama. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what that person would want to say. I mean, I feel like the person who's telling the truth, they do have a lot of love. I think for the people involved in this situation, I think they're a loving person or a lovely person in general. And I think that person, you know, they're the truth teller because they are visibly upset about what's happening. They do want to make amends and to try to resolve things. But I think they also want to seek closure. And, yeah. I think there's just like a lot of healing that needs to occur before anything gets like officially publicly resolved or whatever. Yeah, and I feel like the truth teller is focused more on work than anything else, trying to go out there and either work on a cause or work on different projects. But yeah, the circle of friends, though, I think they're the ones that are stirring up the shit storm. And that's going to be important down the line, is the friends of the person that is the truth teller are not as accurate as the person that's actually giving the accounts. Okay, so like whenever you're listening to a podcast and they're interviewing people, you need to go back and discern who is verified to be a friend of this person, the truth teller, versus some random person or whatever, and people who seek attention, you know? And that it takes a community to build a community. You know, you can't just have like one or two people holding and carrying a whole project or thing. You know, there's a lot of hands involved. And so things revolving around one person isn't effective, you know? But yeah, so I'm just feeling pile number 4, if you're like really caught up or you're disturbed by this situation or whatever, just take heart that you're going to be okay. Your spirit guide team's saying like it's all going to work itself out. and to just trust your intuition, learn to love yourself and roll with the punches, and you're gonna get the truth pretty soon. You know, just follow your heart and it's gonna show you the way, you know? Okay, y'all, well, thank you so much for stopping by and watching my reading. Please like, subscribe, comment down below if this resonated with you. And if you're interested in booking a personal reading with me, links are in the description down below. I will see you all next time. Take care. Bye.